Hey guys, EC Network here, coming at you with another video. So a lot of people hate the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, and I haven't really ever given my thoughts on them. So here's my crack at it. The sequel trilogy started out in 2015 with The Force Awakens, which granted was a rehash of A New Hope, but it was a fantastic one at that. I truly enjoy The Force Awakens. I remember seeing it the night before it came out, the premiere night. They always have shows the night before for movies. I remember seeing it, and pretty much all my friends, all the people I knew were like, "Oh man, you saw the new Star Wars? Like, how was it?" And I was like, "It was good. It was a good movie. It was a good time." And there was just so much hype surrounding The Force Awakens that anyone would have thought Disney can't screw this up. There is so much hype going into it. Then The Last Jedi comes out. The Last Jedi comes out, and I remember I was sitting with a friend, and all of a sudden the news drops, hey, the next Star Wars Episode 8 is called The Last Jedi, and he and I were like, whoa, what does that mean? Who's this Last Jedi? Is it Luke? Is it Rey? Is it someone else? Like, what's going on? Then the movie comes out. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy the movie. By the way, forgot to mention, I saw The Force Awakens the second time. Did the same thing for The Last Jedi. Saw it a second time. On the second watch of The Last Jedi, I was bored. I'm not gonna lie. I was completely bored with the movie. When I watched The Force Awakens for the second time, I still loved it. I watched it even a third time when it was out on Blu-ray. I still loved it. Did the same thing with The Last Jedi. Second time in theaters, was bored. Watched it at home when it was on Blu-ray for the third time, was bored. Just The Last Jedi was just like, I don't know, just what I don't like about The Last Jedi, personally, the two things I don't like is the Leia flying scene. I absolutely hate that. And I also don't like how Luke died. I'm okay that he died, but I don't like how it happened. Just him overexerting himself and dying, that's just stupid to me. So at this point, all of the hype surrounding the sequel trilogy is dead. It's just completely dead at this point. Everyone's like, well, what are they going to do with Episode 9 because they killed Snoke in Episode 8. The time comes, the Rise of Skywalker gets revealed, we find out Palpatine is coming back. When I initially found out Palpatine was coming back, I was like, whoa, no way, they're bringing back Palpatine? That's something. Then as I watched the movie, I enjoyed Episode 9. I thought it was fine on its own. But in the grand scheme of the sequel trilogy, it doesn't work. Just going from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi is one thing. But once you go to the Rise of Skywalker, the Rise of Skywalker feels like it should be its own thing. And honestly, that's the feel you get with each of these movies in the sequel trilogy. They all feel like their own thing. They don't feel like they're telling one cohesive narrative. And the reason it feels like that is because they're not. They're not telling a cohesive narrative. You could tell that Lucasfilm had the plan for The Force Awakens. JJ wrote it up. Ryan Johnson came in. They were like, okay, what do you want to do with it? He did what he wanted. Then they called in Colin Trevorrow and said, what do you want to do with it? We don't like what you're doing. You're fired. JJ, what do you want to do with it? And JJ's like, well, you killed my bad guy already, so I don't know. I guess we got to bring back Palpatine, and that's where it went. And like I said, I enjoyed each of the movies. If I had to rate them in order, I would say I enjoyed The Force Awakens the most and The Last Jedi the least, with The Rise of Skywalker in the middle. But as a narrative, they just don't make sense. And the other thing on top of that is the whole sequel era cast, the new cast they brought in, Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo Ren, those new cast of characters, they all suck. Like, honestly, every one of them sucks except for Kylo Ren. I love Kylo Ren. I think Ben Solo, Adam Driver, he did a fantastic job with Kylo Ren, and that's the only character that has depth in the sequel era. The rest of them are just forgettable to me. And I've talked to some friends about it, and they happen to say the same or say something very similar. That's where I think the sequel era just screwed up. It didn't have one cohesive narrative. None of the movies were just flat out bad, but it didn't have one cohesive narrative. The narrative was all over the place. And the characters didn't really develop to be exciting. The only one that did was Adam Driver's character in Kylo Ren / Ben Solo. I mean, Rey, turned out she's a Palpatine. I was like, okay, that's like... I remember when The Force Awakens came out, I personally thought she was going to be a Skywalker, whether it be Leia or Han's daughter or Luke's daughter, I don't know. But then I remember there were like videos of people being, oh, maybe she's a Kenobi. I'm like, no way. People are like, oh, maybe she's a Palpatine. I'm like, there is absolutely zero chance she's a Palpatine. And it turned out she is a Palpatine. And that's where the sequel era seems like it kind of just grabbed things out of the air, grabbed things out of nothing. They didn't have a plan from the start to finish. And Colin Trevorrow's version of Episode 9, pictures have leaked of it. It looks pretty grim, it looks pretty cool. But could that have saved the sequel era? No. It was too late. They needed to have a plan from the start, and that's why the sequel era to me isn't really a part of the Skywalker saga. If you want to watch, if someone was saying to me, hey, how should I watch Star Wars? I would tell them, if you want the complete story, watch episodes 1 through 6. If you want an epilogue that doesn't have anything to do with the prior story, then watch 7 through 9. That is what Star Wars feels to me, this sequel trilogy. It doesn't really connect well to the originals. All it does is basically kill off an original trilogy character in each movie, but they don't really do much. I mean, the biggest missed opportunity in the sequel trilogy is that Han, Leia, and Luke did not get screen time together all at once. That is the flat out biggest missed opportunity that they had in the sequel trilogy. And that's why I just think it didn't live up to the hype, and I know that majority of the fan base agrees with that. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought about the sequel trilogy in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.